So how would you typically approach the unified support renewal or negotiation?
Yeah. So I would say 6 months before you are expiring with your unified support contract, you should make an inventory with your team. How many support cases have we logged? What functionality from the offering you just mentioned are we using? And if you have that analysis, you can share that with your Microsoft partner and say, well, our Microsoft contract is expiring. Can you please make me an offer for the similar or same services that we can buy through you? Because we feel that the Microsoft support offering is quite expensive. We are happy with you as a partner, so maybe you can help with that. So that would be my first step, to see a like-for-like compare from a Microsoft partner perspective. Then you have your first image on what the potential saving could be and what you can do in your negotiation. Second step would be to check the requirements. So if you have submitted a lot of cases, were those cases actually needed? Because we also have seen that clients are submitting a lot of cases, but did you really need to do that? Or did you also can find the answer with Google? Sometimes it's as basic as that. And you don't need to have all of those support cases with your partner or with Microsoft. The less support you need, the cheaper it gets. That would be my chosen approach 6 months ahead of the expiration.
What you're saying is get some quotes from your partners that you use.
Yeah.
When would you request a quote from Microsoft? And then how do you peel back the layers to get that price down?
Yeah. Typically what we see is that Microsoft will send you your offer probably more than 6 months ahead, because it's very important for them to renew, and they see a lot of clients not renewing. So it's a big topic for them. So probably when you will start, you will already have your renewal quote and you will be shocked. That would be my take on that. When you have received your Microsoft offer, it would be a good time to check that as well. Going back to the topic you touched on, the level of support and the tools you see client needed in the environments. What are the most used functionalities within the unified support offering?
The reactive support.
Okay.
First and foremost, mainly actually.
Yeah.
There are customers that use and leverage a lot of the proactive things as well, but typically these things are also being taken care of by their most intimate partners.
Yes.
Like Microsoft is good at putting a CSAM or the service delivery manager forward, and those guys will definitely get a feel for the organization and get to know the organization and understand what they're doing, etc., etc. But they never can go as deep as some of their most valued partners, like the partners managing their workplace, the partners doing the rollout of their Azure environment. Those guys are there 24/7 from like software implementation parties.
Yeah.
They know everything. They will know if something breaks, how to fix. And they will actively do that as well. So the amount of knowledge that CSAM eventually will have is still less than what many of the partners that actively work with that customer on a day-to-day will know. And who would you rather lean on then? The only way that they're going to need additional proactive support offerings is if they're actually different from what other parties can offer.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case right now. But that would make the case for Unified a lot more interesting, because then you would have that added benefit. Invite them to the technology centers. Like if you could leverage a Unified support contract to learn more about what you can do to increase the security of your environment, that would be very valuable. But is Microsoft needed to give that, or do they already know that from the other parties that they work with more closely? Yeah. So in that sense, the reactive support is always number one item, and that's it's the important item, of course, because I understand that even if you were to switch to a different party for your support for offering on anything Microsoft related, it might feel a bit risky not having that additional support when something really goes wrong, to be able to call Microsoft, because it's their stuff you're using. So they should be responsible. And if they can say, oh, you didn't buy this contract from us, so now you're no longer now I'm no longer responsible for this. That often doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So that reactive part is the most interesting part for any organization, and they'll happily pay for it. But I would say that when you pay for it, you should only pay for that and get the rest as an added benefit, basically.
Indeed, yeah.
And then you need to investigate, is the pricing model that we're currently leveraging, is that up to standard?
Yep.
If you look out into the market, I don't think it is.
No, it does not justify it. No. Funny story we recently had, as a client had a security issue, and he addressed it through his unified support to the CSAM. And he also addressed the issue through the partner. And the partner, they solved the case within an hour. And Microsoft was still puzzling. So that confirms what you stated. So CSAM has, of course, knowledge, but limited within his.
And they do what they can, of course. Like also, a CSAM is, for instance, not a licensing specialist. So we had a case once where with one of our clients where they logged a ticket because they couldn't figure out how to onboard Azure into one of their newly set up tenants. And the CSAM was like, I need to figure out how to solve this from a technical standpoint, whereas it was a licensing issue because they hadn't actually bought an Azure subscription yet.
Mm-hmm.
So when I called that out, did you buy the Azure subscription? The customer was like, no, I don't think we did. I'm like, okay, I think that's the problem. So go to your LSP, tell them to order your Azure subscription for that tenant, and then you probably be good to go.
Yeah.
So like that's a case where you want to obviously rely on your support contract.
Indeed.
But that also shows that Microsoft might not sometimes have all the answers readily available, whereas someone else, in this case, it was us, but it can be your LSP or some technical issue arises that you would need your software implementation specialist. It's always a give-take, and it's about finding that right balance, I guess.